Hi, this is Paula from CHNE. Today we speak with Inverness County CAO Keith MacDonald about the municipality's new call for proposals for its cell phone service expansion initiative. Here's our conversation.
Cell phone coverage has been a very extensive issue for residents throughout Inverness County, and council has prioritized that as one of the issues that they want addressed in the near term. They've invested or set aside some funds up to $250,000 at this time to look at this issue. As we all know, there's numerous gaps for cell service throughout Inverness County, and even some areas that do have service, it's kind of wanes, and even it's just completely lost at times. So it's certainly even more so now with this pandemic and the state of emergency and need that's been brought to council's attention over and over again, and council's been trying to come up with solutions. So the municipality, we've put out this request for proposal. We're hoping service providers or companies that have experience in developing cell towers or cell infrastructure would submit proposals to the municipality for us to review. There's two components. We're looking for more detailed mapping of the county in terms of where service gaps are. And then on top of that, we'll be looking for a solution to fill those gaps from the in the proposals and the costs associated with that and the timelines. So that's going to be open till I think it's June 25th, 26th. And then we'll be quickly as staff reviewing those submissions and hoping to come up with a contract agreement with one of those proposals. So that's being all moved forward. It's been an ongoing issue, and we hope to have some solutions in the near future to address those cell service gaps. The municipality also has been waiting in anticipation that there could be federal or provincial funding programs out there to help support this item. It's really all about safety. We've heard many issues of people that being having an accident or whatever it may be and not being able to contact anyone in an emergency situation. It's also about interconnectivity, as I mentioned with the pandemic. You know, we don't have a reliable service. How are you supposed to connect with people and family in these challenging times? Even with Dorian, there was a lot of issues around communications and interconnectivity, and of course, tourism related. People expect that type of service when they travel, and as well as residents certainly. And hopefully, this will also allow for additional businesses to look at the area. So there'll be solutions for cell service in those gap areas, which may be able to attract other entrepreneurs. So it's a big issue, and council's really looking forward to getting this addressed.
So, what would you do once you select a candidate?
It depends on the proposal. We could have service providers basically pitching that here's the cost to put X amount of new cell towers or repeaters in place throughout the municipality, and the municipality is going to have to come up with the funds to put this in place. So then we would have to work with the service provider to prioritize a list of towers, and because the cost could be fairly significant if we're looking to cover all the gaps within a duration, so we'd have to put a timeline together. Or we may have submission where a company is willing to build the infrastructure and the municipality may have to play another role. Maybe it's land acquisition, or we're not sure. So we're eagerly waiting for those responses, and we hope we get as many as possible to look at. So we're working hard to get this information out to the public and the service providers so we can get some responses.
Do you know what some of the companies are that could possibly provide the service?
You just look at what companies are in the business right now. So you have Eastlink, Bell Alliant, TELUS, Rogers, etc. That that may take interest. So we make sure that we get the proposal in the hands of those decision makers, and there's other companies as well, so that we can have as many responses as possible.
You mentioned the provincial and the federal government. So at the moment, they're not investing in this project, right?
That is correct. Currently, we've not been able to find a program that supports through either level of government funding of cell tower infrastructure. That could change. We're anticipating that the new infrastructure program, as it relates to COVID-19, will hopefully broaden the type of initiatives that they would be looking at. Certainly, I think this would fit within that scope in addressing COVID issues, because as you know, and residents know, it's just been incredibly difficult on the cell phone front and communicating with loved ones and etc. When you just don't have service. So that's certainly something we're looking closely at. We've already talked to Mike Kellaway, the MP for this area, to express that that type of broadening of the infrastructure programming would be very helpful. So we'll see how that plays out. But right now, the municipality is prepared to take steps on its own because it's such an issue, and residents just don't want to be waiting any longer. They want to see some action on this. So council has responded. They've approved the request for proposal, and they've set aside some funds, and we'll see what comes back, and we'll make sure the public is fully aware of our next steps.
Did you kind of do a survey of the community to get an idea of how many new customers these companies could have?
No, we haven't. That takes quite a bit of time, and we have to actually have some data that we don't have, as is in what particular communities don't have coverage at all. We've kind of mapped it out as staff. We know where the gap areas are, but we don't have the exact detail as in per household where that aren't under cell that do not have cell coverage currently. So that's part of the response that we're hoping to see from the in the submissions, that these companies should have that information of what households have service, and identify how many households would be missing on that service, and how many new customers this could translate into. But in terms of gaps, I mean, we know that north of Shady Camp, Pleasant Bay, there's significant areas with no cell coverage, and Sparks Canada could be a partner there. We have the Dundee area with West Bay Road that has lack of service, and Richmond County could be a partner there for certainly. We've been talking to them, and they wanted to see that area addressed. The Margrees, throughout the Margrees, there's numerous gap areas, and there's pockets even just outside of Inverness. Judic has issues, even right in Port Hood, just outside of Mabu. There's gaps throughout the municipality, so we have to find ways to address that.
You can write to us at chne.television@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.